So, can I see the painting?
Absolutely, that's
Just
one of
to
them.
show it to the camera. It's a very nice painting. It's like a moving billboard, sort of. It's never ending.
It's a 12 by 12. It's considered an abstract figure in a way, but it's a 12 by 12 on a wood panel, and it is acrylic and other pencils, pen, all kinds of different good stuff going on in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show this week, and I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's case is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a local artist who does something called abstract expressionism. Now, do we even know what that means? Absolutely not. But you know what? I might have an idea, but let's talk to this guy and find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Anthony Astarita.
Yes, nice name there, huh?
Well, thank you for being on the show today.
It's an honor, Tiberius. I appreciate you having me.
Okay, so you are listed as a local artist that specializes in something called abstract expressionism. Can you explain to us exactly what does that mean?
Abstract expressionism is a form of painting where you really approach your canvas in a way that it's more intuitive and more based on technique, color, design, and texture. It's you can also do abstract figures in it, which we'll get to in a minute, I'm sure, with the frosting paintings.
Okay, so what inspired you to become an artist?
I've been an artist since I was a kid. My mom had me. She was very funny about keeping the house clean, and from a 5 or 6 year old perspective, she had me with a bucket of water washing the walls, but she was telling me to go ahead and draw her pictures. So I had no clue I was cleaning the walls. It might have ended up being a house cleaner or a janitor or something, but I ended up being an artist because I was drawing all these cool little things on the walls.
Huh. So how did your journey from Brooklyn to Orlando influence your art and design?
How did it influence it? Didn't really influence it. I always been an artist that's based on my instincts, on my inner energy. I've always been an artist that has done things abstractly. In a sense that even in grade school, not grade school as much, but middle school and high school, I used to drive the art instructors crazy, in a good way. They always said, to the other students, don't follow in his footsteps because we don't even know what he's doing. So from that aspect, that I've always created what I want to create.
So, being a self-taught artist, what motivated you to pursue art without any formal training?
Well, that's a good question. I've had a lot of formal training. Just because I haven't got a bachelor's or a master's degree in my artwork doesn't mean I haven't taken workshops with very, very good artists. And that's what you fine-tune your stuff. I got an associate arts degree from Seminole Community College. I studied at Creole here in Orlando. I've got other artists that I've done workshops with to learn how to do certain techniques and certain. Let me make it as easy as possible. You don't have to have a degree to be an artist. You can go ahead and be an artist just by picking up a pencil or a pen and be creative. So that's the best way I can answer that. I hope it wasn't too long of an answer, but
It was so good.
good.
So, Anthony, how would you describe your artistic style to someone unfamiliar with your work?
My artistic style is a way of expressing myself without being a what you call a traditional artist or I'm trying to think of the word, realistic. There's beautiful artwork out there that's realistic. I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but I've always liked just making artwork be art. Let art be art is what a lot of the masters would teach you back in the day, when the first big movement of abstract expressionism came out, with Rauschenberg and Franz Klein and all these other artists that were getting away from the traditional type settings of artwork and moving into another direction where people could be more expressive about themselves.
So what is this frosting series you're making? I mean, you're not duct taping a piece of cake to the wall like the banana guy, are you?
No. And that's a great question. And the banana guy did his thing, and look what it did, besides the jokes about it. I mean, it was a very good piece of artwork for him to produce. A lot of people wouldn't get that, but that's what contemporary and modern art, and that's what I'm saying, is that you can create a piece of artwork without that much thought. Could have taped a banana to the wall. So, and he used duct tape. He could have used Scotch tape or anything else, but he used duct tape. That's important. So the frosting paintings came about at a time where I'm in remission for multiple myeloma, which is a form of cancer that has to do with your blood. And I've been in remission for a while. When I found out that I was in remission, it took a load off of my chest. It made me feel so light. It just made me feel like I didn't have that burden, this dark cloud hanging over my head anymore, and called cancer, by the way. So I realized that I wanted to do paintings of frosting because it represented a sweeter life. And when I say a sweeter life, it depends on whatever individual you're talking to as to what a sweeter life is. And for me at that time, it's just the fact that life is so precious, and I wanted to show it in a different way. Like I said, the high school teachers and they all said he's over there in left field somewhere, but he's going to be okay. So the sweetness of life is what they represent. 20% of each painting that I sell goes to children in homeless shelters. I believe in giving back to the community and helping the youngsters especially have creative tools, so to speak, so that they can have a sweeter life in the present, and hopefully maybe it leads to something for them in the art world in the future.
Okay, so can I see the painting?
Absolutely, that's
Just
one
to
of them.
show it to the camera. It's a very nice painting. It's like a moving billboard, sort of. It's never ending.
It's a 12 by 12. It's considered an abstract figure in a way, but it's a 12 by 12 on a wood panel, and it is acrylic and other pencils, pen, all kinds of different good stuff going on in it.
So here you go. So what's the best part about being an artist?
Is that you can play all day. That's the best part. You can play all day. I mean, that's, to me, when I approach my painting, and I think every artist should approach their painting with a playful spirit, and that pretty much is what I try to do, is approach the canvas, and not that it doesn't get frustrating during the process of painting. Sometimes you're like, man, this isn't what I was expecting it to be. Now I got to change it back or leave it like this and develop something else. But you're always in that playful mode. At least I am. I don't know about other artists.
So if a kid wanted to grow up and be a local artist, what advice would you give him or her?
what advice would I give him or her? I would tell you to show up every day with a crayon or a pencil or a Posca marker or acrylic paint. Show up every day on a piece of paper or canvas, whatever tools you have to work with, and create. Don't worry about being a local artist. Don't worry about any of that. Just create. Put your pencils and your pens and your markers and whatever you have on some paper or canvas, and just enjoy the process of painting.
Well, here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Okay.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut, that's a wrap. Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Anthony Astarita, October 2024 visual artist for Timucua. So, Anthony, can you tell us about this experience with Timucua and how did it happen?
Timucua Arts Foundation here in Orlando does a tremendous, it is an exciting place for any artist that's growing and wants to emerge. I was the resident artist there in October, and it was an incredible experience. I always try to have music going in my studio when I'm painting, but to actually be on stage with musicians, the jazz musicians that were there when I was painting live, was phenomenal. And I did two large paintings, a 36 by 48 and a 24 by 48. And they came out so bold and so rich in color. And it's phenomenal. And the Timucua Arts Foundation does so much for local artists and for globally for musicians. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but you really need to check them out. And they're on Corrine Drive in Orlando. Amazing, amazing.
So, how do you prepare for such an exhibition event?
How do I prepare? Well, what I do is I develop a series of a body of work that's cohesive, and then I have to go ahead and make a nice portfolio and package it up and send it to different galleries. And from there, hopefully a gallery says, okay, well, yeah, we'd like to have you be in an exhibition here at our gallery. The most recent ones was the Win-Win Emerging Artists exhibition at Mills Gallery, and then I was also this year in the Rags to Riches duo. It was a duo solo show. Marcos Carrascos was the other artist that had his brilliant work there, and then I had my work there, and it's titled Rags to Riches. So you create a body of work, you try to keep it as cohesive as possible, and go ahead and send it off to these galleries. If they want to represent you in an exhibit, they will. And if they want you to be a resident artist, where they have your work online on their webpage all the time and in their gallery all the time, you can also do that.
So, how do you stay motivated and passionate about your work over the years?
I don't think it's I don't really consider I consider having to go to work, but I don't consider it work. The part that's work to me is the marketing, and you know, I'm not a salesperson, so to speak, and I'm not really a marketing person, so to speak. So that's more work to me. But the art making process is always there. And when you've been painting for as long as I have, you find that the body of work, the series of art that you're making, is going to carry you into the next series, in the sense that there's something in the series that you're creating, and you see it evolving into the next series. And I take very much advantage of that.
Okay, so Anthony, big question now. How do you deal with criticism or feedback about your art?
I haven't really had any criticism. So, I don't know how I would deal with that. I haven't had... I think that artwork is something that's going to appeal to somebody, and I think the people that collect art, true art collectors, not people hiding behind a Facebook page or an Instagram page that wanna just get you irritated, so to speak, that are just being cruel or whatever. And I've had that happen, and I know that as an adult, what people are saying are just not. It's not that they're trying to create static rather than let you keep flowing as an artist. I don't take it seriously. I just say to myself, well, and I don't even write back to them. But when you're creating a body of work, and a true art collector will know if they're taken in by, if they find your work intriguing, if they find your life intriguing, they know that they're going to be your collector and you're going to be their artist. If not, they'll just, if they're a genuine art collector, they won't sit and criticize your work. You don't ever have to worry about that. They'll just go on and move on to the next place that they're going to find the artwork that they want.
So how do you want people to feel when you see your art?
Feel whatever they need to feel. I mean, I try to create joy and happiness, and keep my work as lighthearted as I can. If I'm creating something, I try to be joyful about it, in a sense that it makes me happy to paint it, and it makes me motivated to paint more. And if it intrigues them, good. If it doesn't, I don't want, I can't explain how someone else can, how I want them to feel. I just hope they connect with the artwork on a level that is inspiring to them, and they feel energetic about it. They feel as good about it as I do.
Okay, so Anthony, what's the most misunderstood part about your work?
Misunderstood. Okay, I think the most misunderstood part about my artwork is I've had so many people tell me that they don't understand how I can separate my being an adult from a kid, because a lot of my work is playful. A lot of my work it has some childlike stuff in it, and I let people express to me, well, that's so kid-like. How do you do that? And I'm like, you just gotta. I put myself in a place when I'm painting that there's no age, there's nothing between me and the canvas but being playful and joyful and happy. And like I said, sometimes it gets frustrating to do something, but it's I think people find it hard to gear it. You're so grown up sometimes that you forget how to be a kid. Maybe I can explain it to you this way too. I also have a degree in occupational therapy. I was an occupational therapist for almost 25 years. And how did I get my patients that were just ready to crash on life and be, we're talking about people that had so many critical diseases that they didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning, and that's in nursing homes, it's in hospitals. How do you approach that? Do you go in and say, come on, you got to get up out of bed? Do you go in and, have this, no, you go in there joyful and happy and playful. You go in there with a lighthearted spirit, right? Mm-hmm. So I do the same thing. I approach my artwork in the same way.
So it says in your bio that your art helps kids in homeless shelters. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. My art sales, especially on the frosting series, because I want children especially to have a sweeter life. I've been donating to Orlando shelters for a very long time, monetarily, and also doing other things like the sock drop, the Orlando sock drop. I did that for a couple of years where I'd have boxes throughout the Orlando area. Different companies would let me bring a box in and people would donate new socks for the people, the homeless people and the people in the homeless shelters. What I do now is create packages for kids in the homeless shelters and drop them off chalk, crayons, coloring books, paper, and a lot of it comes from 20% of the art sales on the frosting paintings, and also just 20% out of my regular income, my regular earnings.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing. I don't know if you've ever gone to a shelter and seen the kids there, and you can tell that they have, they want to play and they want to have and they're resilient and everything, but that they're still going through a traumatic event, not being able to have a place to call home, and you want to alleviate that. And I think artwork can do that. Artwork can alleviate a lot of things that are happening in America to a lot of different people. And I just want them to have a joyful experience like I did when I was a kid. I always wanted to draw. I always wanted to color. I always wanted to do something artistically. And I think that would really help the kids in the homeless shelters.
So what was the best advice that you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
For my artwork, I think well, best advice for my artwork. That's a good question. I don't think anyone has given me there's so many different artists that have said things to me in different ways. I think that I don't know if you know an artist locally, Marlene London, but she has really seen me through my art journey, my art career, and she has really told me some things over the time, and one of the most important things that I think that she has told me is, go with an attitude, a playful attitude, that, express yourself as playfully, just play is what she told me years ago. So that's pretty much what I've kept in mind. And the other thing that I've kept in mind is, and all the abstract expressionists back in the day have said the same thing. Please just let art be art. Let it shine on its own. Let what you've created be a piece of artwork. There's so many different types of art, and I appreciate all of the different types and style of art. but just let art be art is the biggest thing. I think the biggest influence. You know, is it art?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that anyone has ever said.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back here with Anthony Astarita, contemporary artist and abstract expressionist right here in Orlando, Florida. So this is one of your artworks, and I believe that it's really, really cool. This is about the frosting series, right?
It is.
So can you explain me a little bit on why you made this?
Why I made it is because I really, I went from painting the At the Farm series, and there was a color, this coral color, I made a painting called Octopus Garden, and I was painting a piece of coral underneath the sea in this coral color, and out of nowhere, it just came that I had to paint frosting on cakes. Who knew? I saw it and I just went for it, and created these playful, wobbly, kind of quirky, kind of contemporary. You can see the scribble marks that I love putting in my paintings. I love my cursive writing. The children all over the world are probably not practicing anymore, right?
Hey, I mean, he's not wrong.
That's another subject, right? So yeah, I intentionally write frosting in there in cursive just because that's the generation that I come from, is writing things in cursive.
So what are some of the challenges that you've run into while, building an art community, and how have you overcome them?
Some of the getting into galleries isn't as easy as it seems.
It's not. It's really not.
I think you have to really push yourself and motivate yourself, and show up in your studio, show that you're working every day in order for a gallerist or a curator to connect with you. Not that you're that you're creating every now and then. I create every day. I'm in my studio daily. And I think getting your foot in the door at a gallery is pretty much one of the hardest elements of being an artist. So from that, how do I overcome that? Okay, so I researched galleries, not just here in Florida, but up and down the East Coast especially. And I noticed that a lot of the galleries have group shows. So I know that City Arts does group shows too, and I know that Mills Gallery is a gallery that that I've done shows with recently. They used to do group shows, or as a matter of fact, they did a group exhibition, and I was in that first, and then that led me into being in some of the other exhibitions I was in. So what I noticed, these group shows, you go ahead and submit one or two pieces of your artwork, and that has gotten my foot into the door at a lot of galleries, not just in the state of Florida, but out of state.
Oh wow.
And they sometimes they're themed shows. A lot of times they're not themed shows. But if you have a piece of artwork and you say, man, I don't know if this is going to fit what they're asking for as far as this group exhibition, so I'm going to just send it. They usually have like a $10 fee, $25 entry fee. It all depends on how many pieces of artwork that you submit into the group exhibition. But that has really been the part that is a little bit harder for me, and also how that answers your question on how to overcome those trying to get into galleries.
So, how did you encourage young people, listening to my show, to find their unique artistic voices?
It'll show up. It'll show up. It's who you are. It's in your DNA. When I first started, it was more about when I first started doing exhibitions, it was more about creating people. It was more about I wanted to do portraits, not traditional portraits, mind you. It was more about doing portraits the way I see, and it'll show up. It shows up. Don't go too far away from how you hold a pencil, how you make marks, mark making. If you're doing abstract and you just want to create marks, just visual mark making. Don't hold back. When you approach your paper or your canvas, just let yourself show up. And eventually you're going to find, man, I like what I did there. Stay with that and keep going with that. Take classes. Creole Day Art School. I'm going back, like I said, I'm going back to being a late teen, early 20s with Creole Day. And there was Grady Kinsey was the professor, the artist director there at the time, and he also was at Seminole Community College, and I took drawing classes at first with him, and the first thing he had me do was draw an egg, and I just drew an oval, and he said that draw the egg from the inside out, and also draw the egg with its surroundings. So it made me look at an egg differently. Now, if I were to come back to today, I probably would do the oval, because that's more of who I am, and it's more of an abstraction. I wouldn't call it an egg. I would just make it. It would just be mark making for me.
So, do you think AI has a positive role in your industry at all, or are you worried it might take over parts of a job and cost people a living?
No, art is always going to be art, and AI is always going to be AI. It'll always serve a purpose. I'm using a little bit of AI right now, but to help me with my marketing skills. It gives me asking AI, how can I really bump up my Instagram, and it gives me these ideas as far as when to post, how to post, what intrigues an algorithm. I don't know nothing about algorithms. You know what I'm saying? And the younger generation's going to know more about that. So they'll probably be heads up, right? The generation now probably knows more about algorithm than anybody. So I think AI is going to serve its purpose. I don't think it's ever going take this tangible evidence that I exist right here away from me, it is going to be what it is. It's going to be AI generated whatever. And that's fine. It's just, I used to, I know you're probably saying, if he says you used to be, I used to also be a photographer. And I'm talking about, old school photography, developing in trays, making my prints in trays with developer, using a tank, to develop my film. Did digital take that away? It might have taken the task, but it didn't take away photography.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still probably people that do old school stuff, which is incredibly good. But the digital just, it came along, and it is a digital photograph. It's created digitally, or however. I think once digital came out, I was already moved on to painting. I used to own my own Nikon FM cameras and strobes, and had the whole 9 yards. And I think when digital came out, I had already started developing my painting skills and my drawing skills. So, hopefully I answered that for you.
So what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Biggest mistake? I don't think anything is a mistake. I think everything in life is, it might be an exploration of certain things. I don't think there's any mistakes in my artwork. I take my artwork as it is, and let it, sometimes you get happy mistakes. You spill you drop some paint on a painting, and you go, oh man, that looks good. Or you go, oh man, let me get that off of there. And that's the way it is with life too. You do certain things in life, and you say, okay, well, this really didn't turn out too good, or that really turned out good, and I wasn't even planning it for it to be that good. So that's the way you got to look at things.
So what do you do for fun, when you're not working on your art?
I have a lot of hobbies, I guess you could say. Well, I have a bearded dragon, and I have a dog, and they are really amazing. My bearded dragon's name is Vinny, and my dog's name is Stanley. Stanley from Laurel and Hardy, which you probably don't know who that is, but it's a comedy team from way back when. So he kind of has the thing where Stanley always was, I'm sorry, you go like this, and Stanley, my dog's hair, he kind of stands up on the top of his head like that. So I named him Stanley. So, they create a lot of havoc around the house for me, and a lot of joy. I mean, I love them. They're incredible creatures. I love to cook, so I have, I enjoy cooking. I cook every day. I bake breads. I hardly ever buy bread. I mostly bake bread. I love cooking Italian food because that's part of my heritage. And gardening. I love gardening. I love doing yard work.
Jack of all trades.
Over the years, I've done people here in College Park. I've helped them establish and build up their gardens. As far as weeding is not something a lot of people like to do. Here's this one, above 60-year-old guy that doesn't mind taking an auger out and pulling weeds up for people. And handyman work. I've done that over the years also. You have a great thing as far as being an artist. but there's always something else that you're going to be doing also.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't do your radio, your wonderful radio show, all the time, you know. And this is not just who you are. You know, you try to live a full life as best as you can.
So, do you play video games? And if so, what's your favorite one?
Video games. I could truly be addicted to video games.
I know my dad was.
I'm telling you, I used to. Well, it started out with pinball.
I started off with my dad
Going
too.
to the arcades and playing pinball, you know, and it was like, okay, then they came out with the Pac-Man and with the Centipede and all of that, and I was like, oh man. And now, you know, I think the most recent one was that I've been doing. Well, I'm not doing it yet, but I'm looking into the Minecraft stuff.
Ooh.
So I think that's.
You'll like that.
Good.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, well that's good. So I'm thinking about doing that, and I play a lot of Scrabble. I play Scrabble a lot, which is good because that keeps you cognitively in a good place. You know, I didn't realize that. You know, I didn't realize how Scrabble can really make you up your game on word development and keep you cognitively aware.
So, if someone wants to see or purchase your art, where should they go?
Come directly to me, Astarita Art. You can find me on Instagram, Astarita Art Studio. You can email me. Well, if you go to Astarita Art Studio on Instagram, there's a link portal that has so much information in it, and you can find my phone number from my studio there. You can find my email address, which is astaritaartstudiogallery@gmail.com, and you're always more than welcome to come out to my studio, make an appointment so the dogs and the bearded dragon don't attack you. And you know, if I'm in an art show or an art exhibit, I'll definitely post it on there. But yeah, you can buy work directly from me out of my studio.
Sweet. So, what's that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
About the math?
No.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Any question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I don't
Any
think. I
question at
think
all?
you covered. My head right now is boggled. I'm like, what just happened? You're a young man or mid-teen, and you're so good at what you do. I'm very impressed by you, and I'm glad you had me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Anthony, for being our special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Sure.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad, my computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Excellent.
And now it's time for Math Corners. This week, we're going to answer some multi-step word problems. And I just want to start off by thanking you for helping me with Math Corners.
All right.
Now, today, we're going to talk about staging a gallery showcase. And I believe you should be good at this one.
Oh, you think?
Who knows? So, Samantha is helping prepare a gallery showcase. The artist wants to hang up 36 paintings evenly on 6 display walls. Now, each wall must have the same number of paintings. In addition, it takes Samantha 5 minutes to carefully hang each painting. If she works alone without breaks, how long will it take her to hang all the paintings? And if she convinces her friend Alex to help and they work at the same speed, how long would it take?
So it'd be like 5 minutes times 6 on each wall. So that would be 30 minutes. So 30 times 6 walls there is? 6 times 3 is what?
18.
18. So it'd be an hour. It'd be almost two. It'd be 3 hours.
Well, I think he got it, but I'm just going to go ahead and explain it.
But you really helped. I was like...
Well, first, this is a real-world problem because, it's important to plan out, the time to set up a gallery, event, and, hang the artwork in a way the artist is happy with. So, first, you have to take the total number of paintings and divide it by the number of walls. So, 36 total paintings divided by 6 is, 6. That was really easy. But now it's time for something harder. You have to figure out the time. 36 paintings times 5 minutes per painting, and you get 180 minutes, which you got right. It's still pretty easy, but, you divide that by 60 minutes per hour, and it's 3 hours of work. So, good job.
Yeah, good for you.
Well, wait, there's more.
Uh-oh.
Now, if she gets Alex to help out, and they would do it in half the time, which would be 90 minutes or 1.5 hours.
I would have never thought of that.
So, Anthony,
Yeah.
do you have to figure out how long it takes to set up and display your work during a gallery?
Well, the shows that I've been doing, the gallerist, the curator, pretty much hangs the artwork and displays the artwork. In the past, I've done some shows a long time ago where I had to display my own artwork. And even outdoor shows, I've had to set up the tent and everything. Oh, that takes a while. But in a gallery, in a smaller space gallery, I think it took me maybe one time to do maybe 2 or 3 hours hanging the artwork, hanging up a sign, a vinyl sign, putting the tags next to each piece of artwork. Maybe took me probably 3 to 5 hours to do that. Plus, you got to get the artwork there, So, yeah.
So, my teacher said that I would use math every single day. How do you use math with your work?
Oh, man. That's a great question. And believe me, I'm abstract at math, too. No, I've had professors tell me, I don't know how you did this. You got the answer right, but that's not the formula for it. So it's kind of like that. But anyhow, there's a lot of work that I do sometimes if I'm trying to do a portrait, like the Rags to Riches show. I had 3 different, semi-popular, popular people. John Lennon, of course, popular. Albert Einstein, of course, popular. And Charlie Chaplin. And from looking at images of them on the computer, I had to blow them up to a 48 by 48 and have that image turn out to first of all to be projected to the right size. So I use a grid method, and I take the actual size of what's on the computer, I lay a grid over it that's maybe 3 by 3 squares and so many squares in length and so many squares up and down, and then I have to multiply to get that up to the size that I want it to be on the canvas. So sometimes it's mind-boggling doing that because I don't do math every day like you do, but to project an image and to get it to this, if you had a projector, a lot of people do that. They take paper and they just go ahead and draw on the clear piece of paper or on a piece of tissue paper, and they draw out the stuff on the tissue paper and they put it on an overhead projector and they project that up to enlarge it. But me, I just use the grid method and enlarge it that way.
Well, thank you so much, Ant, for your help with Math Corners.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for these questions. They were really fun. I appreciate you.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about leadership. For me, I think leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. The qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others.
And you're fulfilling that.
Well, the other night, I was helping my dad troubleshoot some issues on his computer for a project he was working on. At first, I thought he was, just clicking around and updating software, but then I watched how he handled a stressful situation when something crashed. Instead of, getting frustrated like I would, he stayed calm and, started making a checklist of what needed to be done, assigning small tasks to me like restarting systems and checking cables. I mean, he even took the time to explain what he was doing and ask for my input. And, I was a real part of the team. I mean, it made me realize that leadership isn't being the boss or, telling people what to do, but it's about staying focused, guiding others, and keeping things moving when stuff goes wrong. I mean, watching him work made me want to do more like that when I wanted to do group projects in school.
Absolutely.
So, Anthony, did you see or use leadership at all this week?
The leadership that I've seen thus far this week would be right here in this studio. I mean, what you and your dad here are doing and the way you create these studio interviews, think about what you're doing. You're first of all, you're motivating other kids, right? You're doing it in a professional fashion and still being the teen that you are, right? Your obedience. I mean, you and your dad, the interaction between you and your dad is, I've seen less in workplaces. I mean, and this is phenomenal. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. The interaction you and your dad have here, creating this incredible Tiberius Show is professional, yet, I know I goofed up on that, Dad, or you don't even call him Dad. You are who each other is, and he knows that, you messed up on, and you don't get mad about it. You crack up about it and say, oh, well, we got to do this again. That is just 100% the way I think everyone should be in any profession is to have each other's back, so to speak, and get the job done.
Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Anthony Astarita for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think we learned a lot about your work as a contemporary artist and the process of developing an artistic mind.
Thank you so much for having me. This has really been quite an interview, and I hope that the younger generation gets something from it. And keep on making art. Let art be art.
You mind giving your social media and website again?
It is Astarita Art Studio on Instagram, and you can see my link tree is Astarita Art Studio 1 on Linktree. Thanks again, folks. I appreciate you.
Well, also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, Canton 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air my show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. So, Anthony, are you subscribed yet?
I don't know if I hit the subscribe button yet. I'm sure I'm going to.
Okay. Well, it says this week, 1KJH101 says, I love, and I mean love, when I say that hat of yours. It makes me super happy. Well, y'all, thank you. I do like it myself. And be sure to comment on my videos, and I might even mention yours at the end of the show. And also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
Excellent.